Hey, what's up everybody? Video 44 coming at you another video. All right, so the game is tipping off 2 hours and a half from now on ABC. For everybody who wants to see the Los Angeles Lakers go up against the Golden State Warriors again. I gotta correct the mistake. The Lakers did not win the season series against the Minnesota Timberwolves. I said that in my pregame video. That wasn't true. We still gotta play them once more. We got 2 more goals at the Grizzlies as well, the Pacers, and the Warriors, who we'll see again. So it's a lot of these teams, even though it's a bunched up number of games, only like 15 games left. Half of those teams we're gonna have to see more than once. Hopefully we can take care of business, man. I don't think it's a whole lot of tough teams left, to be honest with you. Looking at that, it was a lot of Eastern Conference teams. You're gonna see Philly again. You're gonna see the Bucks again. You got to go on one more road trip, so that's going to take you to Brooklyn. It's going to take you to, I believe, Toronto again. Well, not again, but I think that game is in Toronto, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, there's one more like 5 or 6 game Eastern road trip, which I just think sucks, man, when you consider this is the wind down of the season. Also, the last 2 games of the season are on the road. We go to Memphis, and then we end the season with a 12:30 game against Zion in them, which could be for all the marbles in some ways, depending on how we finish up here. So the Lakers can't take no games off, man. They better get their act together. We can't afford to really drop anything right now. This is about winning, getting yourself in a position to get out of the play-in tournament if at all possible. And if you're in the play-in tournament, I think this next several weeks is going to be about getting your rotations in place and your defensive principles in order so that you can give yourself the best chance of scheming against the teams that we're going to see. Now, the good thing about the play-in tournament is you can get an understanding of who's in there. You know, it's only about 4 or 5 teams that have a shot at really actually being in there, including ourselves. So you can start doing homework on these teams. Golden State, Dallas, Phoenix, who else? Us and maybe one more squad that we're probably going to have to battle it out with. Sacramento, possibly, if they fall. You know who is in there. Now, the thing that concerns me is that Sacramento will fall there, and we'll have to beat them in order to get out of the situation. Now, my gut tells me that Sacramento is probably going to be fine. They'll probably be out of the play-in tournament just because of how well they've been playing and win. But we better hope they don't fall, man, because if that team falls, it's already proven we can't beat them. It's not even about what I was talking about a week ago when we were preparing for Denver and Sacramento. Now it's just about, like, I tell you, as a fan, I'm going to have the right mentality. But if the guys in uniform don't, we really do need to avoid some teams so that they can have a shot at success. And, you know, that's hard. That's hard for me as a fan, as I've said before, put myself in that mentality. I personally think when I'm holding the controller, if I'm playing video games, something like that, if I have the right mentality, I can overcome a lot. Now, obviously, matchups have a lot to do with a lot of things. And some teams are just going to be better than you no matter what. But when it comes to me competing, if my head is on straight and you've beaten me 1,000,000 times in a row, I believe I'm going to compete with you that 1,000,001th time. I believe that I'm going to show up, if nothing else, mentally for the game. And I'm going to be frustrated and offended if I don't succeed, if whatever, you know. But this team doesn't have that mentality. They don't. They more so settle into the idea of their own ineptitude and accept it. And that could be healthy. That could be healthy in some ways, but it can also be a detriment to them overachieving in others. So that's really my point of view. I just want to see the Los Angeles Lakers get their act together and you know, not get run over by the same team over and over again. Now, one thing that I heard this morning that was mentioned is that the Lakers are interested in cutting down on the volume of threes that are coming their way, running teams off of the 3-point line or adjusting their 3-point defense in some way, perimeter defense in some way, to keep them from getting hit the way they've been getting hit over the last several games. So we're going to see if that's in effect today, and we're going to also see more so, not really today, But the changes that they want to make should likely come somewhere during this 3-day break that they're going to get between Monday and Friday. So Friday's game is going to tell a lot about where the Lakers are with health. If we can somehow get Vincent on the floor specifically, and maybe Cam, depending on where he's at. I don't know about Vando, but Vincent is allegedly, he's likely working up his conditioning to take on physical contact probably next week if things go on schedule. And Vanderbilt, from what I understand, is lifting weights again, so that's encouraging. But we'll see. You know, this week is going to be very pivotal for this team because they're going to have time to study, they're going to have time to work with one another, they're going to have time to rest, all of these different things that are probably necessary for the last home stretch plus playoffs. So, you know, hopefully guys take it seriously, eat well, stretch well, all that good stuff during this week when there's not a whole lot of basketball being played. So yeah, that's my attitude. That's my hope for this team. You know, I'm not gonna sit up here and say I'm all that enthused about the Lakers right now. I'm really not. I just don't think they're that great of a basketball team to show. But at the same time, we've seen them do terrific things, including against the Golden State Warriors, of whom they're facing tonight. So if they can do some good things against the Warriors, maybe we can see them overachieve in such a way that it makes us proud and puts us in a position to feel like we have a shot at something special. We're a long way away from that, though. So that's what losing will do. It'll bring you out of that space of hope. And so the Lakers need to find it again, and it starts tonight against the Golden State Warriors. Man, I've kind of detached myself to a degree from a lot of the chatter. I was listening to people's point of view on D'Angelo Russell and Schroeder. I know Schroeder responded and essentially said, you know, called D'Angelo immature for continuing to bring his name up in these conversations or whatever, however he saw it. And, you know, I just felt like it didn't do a whole lot of good, you know. And maybe this is immaturity. I can't say it's that I see it any other way myself, because if you're gonna open your mouth and what comes out of it doesn't benefit what it is that you're ultimately trying to do, if it doesn't bring any light or any growth to anybody else, then you're really just throwing shots to make yourself feel better. You know what I mean? And I just think that's a low frequency thing. I really do. I don't know if that's what D-Lo's intention was. I didn't see the context of the conversation, so far be it for me to tell you I'm informed on the fullness of that conversation. He was probably asked some things. But you just got to know if things that you say in response to questions are going to bring about negativity and distraction for your basketball club, then you should probably think of another way to respond that doesn't have that effect. And I think maturity does that. Maturity does that, you know? And as I said about the specifics of what it was, a lot of that sounded like a perception issue. Like, D'Lo felt he couldn't communicate with his coach because of the presence of Dennis Schroeder. That didn't necessarily mean that the coach was telling him, don't communicate with me because Dennis is here. That's a perception issue. And a mature man gonna walk up to that man and say, look, man, my responsibility to this team is to make sure that my role is intact and make sure that my play is intact, make sure my body is ready to do the job at hand. Whatever communication needs to be done so that I can be the best professional I can be for this team, I'm gonna initiate that conversation. And if I got to sit down with Dennis Schroeder and coach and express my concerns closed door so that we can air that out, if it's going to help with the chemistry of the team or make it so that people respect me enough to listen to me when I'm talking to them or whatever the case may be, then that's the button I need to press. I don't know that D'Lo did that or didn't do that, but judging by how he's handling this, it tells me he didn't do that. You know what I mean? You want to throw passive-aggressive stuff at the media, but don't necessarily want to tell the people at hand in the moment that they need to make you feel like you need to communicate or that you can communicate with them. That's what needed to happen. Don't sit up here and tell me somebody else's relationship with their coach is keeping me from communicating with my coach. Hell no. I'm going to walk up to that coach and say, listen, man, this is what it is that I feel I will be best at if you give me these minutes or if you have this communication with me, and we can rock. But throwing shots at your coach and throwing another ex-teammate under the bus when he's no longer in the locker room is it don't do much to fix the problem, I guess is what I'm saying. If I'm not solution-based, then I'm creating problems. And if I'm creating problems, then I have no business complaining about them. You understand what I'm saying? So that's really what it comes down to. It is an immaturity issue there. And D-Lo's going to have to understand that if your words can't do no good, if they don't provide nothing but negativity for those that are around you or create angst that you can't solve with that same mouth, then you got to realize that the problem is you. It ain't Dennis Schroeder, it ain't Coach and his relationship with Dennis Schroeder, it's you. In a sense that you don't find yourself mature enough to communicate in a way that disarms all of that from being the case. And that's my thing. It's like, if you're going to use the media to make things happen, do it when it can help. Do it last year when you felt that way, so that it could do that, have the effect that you're looking for it to have then. You don't wait for the guys to be out of your locker room so he can't confront you about it. That don't look too strong, you feel me? Like, you wait till Dennis Schroeder's all the way in New York. So that's my thing. It's like, nah, I don't think D'Angelo Russell, I don't think we can assume that he's handling this the right way, judging by what we're seeing, or had any intention of being a solution to the problem that he's complaining about. Not at all. I don't think that his behavior is showing me that. And what his behavior is showing me is that he's disruptive and not looking to make communication happen really at all with anybody with the media in regards to this conversation. And that doesn't speak to Darvin Ham being at fault for not communicating. Speaks to D'Angelo Russell not. So for those who are wondering whose side I'm on, I don't think this is a pick side situation. I think it's about D'Angelo Russell getting himself into a space where he can help the team. And throwing little shots out at ex-teammates ain't gonna do that. Throwing shots at your current coach definitely ain't doing that. And it ain't gonna help for your time, your playing time. It ain't gonna help for the rope that you have from mistakes that you may make. It ain't gonna speak well to him playing you so that you can get in rhythm or none of that. And so people just gotta ask themselves what they want. What do you want? Are you trying to make your coach get along with you? This ain't gonna help. Are you trying to make your coach respect you? This ain't gonna help. Are you trying to pick a fight with Dennis Schroeder? Why you wait this long? Like, it's a lot of stuff that just doesn't make any sense. And if this is what he's doing, then he got to try to make some sense of what it is that he's doing. And if he's not looking to make sense of what he's doing, he's just causing chaos and he ain't helping the situation. So that's my take on it. I just think it's one more thing that can get in the way of him getting his money, really. It's one more thing. And that's my overall point of view. I think he needs to help himself, man. A lot of times, like I said in the last time I spoke about this, a lot of times people do stuff because they hate themselves or they dislike themselves. And they just aren't self-aware in such a way to know that that's what they're doing. So the only real effect it has is cause chaos and make it so that people blame them, make it so that people don't like them. You know what I mean? Because that's really all it's meant to do. It's just that they aren't aware of it. And this feels like something like that to me. Just like that situation with Swaggy P felt like that to me. You know what I mean? So people got to stop self-destructing without being aware of it. Know that you hate yourself if you hate yourself. If you dislike yourself, be self-aware of such things. Try to meditate a little more so you know what the hell outcomes come of what it is that you choose. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times things don't have no other purpose but to destroy from the inside out. And the last person to know is that person a lot of the time. So it's just how I see it, man. But yeah, man, I hope D'Angelo Russell can get past this. I hope Coach can get past this. Coach is so much older than D-Lo, as am I. So we just kind of look at D-Lo as, you know what I mean? Like, you got to grow up in that way, brother. That's it. It ain't nothing for us to take personally. If you're older and you mature enough, you just look at him and say, man, that's where he's going to have to grow. Because he ain't doing nothing but making himself look bad. That's really all that is, man. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say, man. It's time for me to go back inside. Hope the Lakers win. Hope D'Lo plays well. Look forward to rooting him on. He's a very entertaining basketball player with a lot of talent. But this type of stuff just make a person look at you and say, you probably you probably won't be back next year, man. That kind of thing. It's the type of thing that caters to people not getting their money. So it's pretty much all I got to say about that. My name is BDF44. Thank y'all for watching. I'm out.